Mika are shown to have made significant progress from their first day at Grace Sloan Memorial. In front of all of the interns, Mika revealed that she had had sexual relations with one of the attendees. Because of that, Jules had a long-standing hatred for Mika, and now the two of them are dating. They were having an affair covertly. However, they did not disclose their relationship to any of their other circles of friends. Amelia is the only person who is aware of their existence with them. What the interns do is irrelevant to Amelia, and she doesn't care. Also, she was not a prude. Owen was her husband at one point in time. Together with Link, she had a child. Monica was Lucas's drug addict aunt, and she attempted to kiss her. Monica was also her aunt. She does not have any moral ground to stand on. Even though Lucas and Simone have reconciled, Amelia is completely unaware of this development. Simone abandoned her fiancé at the altar in order to be with him. Together, they carried out an operation that was not permitted by the medical director. Throughout the course of their relationship, they have gone back and forth. As soon as they recalled that they were interns, they were finally able to find a stable foundation. As far as the surgical procedures were concerned, they were engaged in a fierce competition with one another and the other three. The entire night, Simone devoted herself to studying in the hopes that she might be able to get a liver transplant. However, Lucas was selected over her despite this. Every single intern expressed a desire to undergo surgical procedures. I had the impression that Mika was acting strangely tonight. To Jules is not a possibility that the patient will experience paralysis as a result of the operation. Several hospitals located in different parts of the country have been visited by the woman. At this point in time, no one is interested in performing surgery on her. Amelia was not even interested in performing surgery on her. After having a conversation with the patient, she came to the conclusion that it was risky. She listened to her account. It dawned on her that a refusal would not affect the outcome of the situation. The patient would continue to hunt for a physician who would ultimately give them a positive response. As a result of Amelia's desire to prevent her from going to a hack, she investigated various other alternative methods for removing the tumor. This was a project that Amelia was working on with Joe. That person's intern was Mika. At another point, Simone became enraged with Lucas. He was selected to have the operation that she desired. She became enraged. She claimed that the only reason he was given it was because he was a shepherd and that they were fighting when Richard joined in on the argument. It involved the transplantation of a liver while the patient was conscious. Throughout the entirety of the operation, the patient was completely awake. Due to the fact that the patient conducted his own research, it was a little bit strange. With the assistance of Google, most likely, he posed inquiries on multiple occasions. In his opinion, the doctors were wrong. When Richard had to step away from the operating room, he broke down in a panic. Meredith sent Richard a text message which he received. 911 was written on it. He was willing to disregard it at first, but Nick warned him that he shouldn't do that. During the procedure that Meredith was doing on Catherine, Nick was aware of it. Richard made a hasty exit from the operating room in order to be at his wife's side. It was at Bailey's clinic that Richard went. He learned that Catherine was going to get a biopsy of her liver. It was really important to save her liver. Together, Meredith and Bailey were able to save Catherine from certain death. In the interim, Amelia made the decision to carry out surgical procedures on her patient. In the operating room, there was a moment when it appeared as though both the surrogate and the baby were going to pass away. As Amelia and Joe were arguing over it, Mika lost her cool and became angry. They were arguing over a patient, and she called them out for their disrespectful behavior toward the two people who were on the operating table. The physicians were so taken aback by Mika's performance that the patient was able to restore her equilibrium on her own. Additionally, the infant was going to be well as well. After ranting at the others that were present, Mika was nevertheless expelled from the operating room. Even so, it was well worth it. That day, she was able to save 2 lives. In addition, as a special gift, Simone was able to shut Nick's patient. To put it simply, that made her feel a great deal better. However, Richard was unable to leave the waiting room because he was with Ben. Ben made an effort to submit himself for an interview at the hospital. The interview was conducted with Sydney by him. She demonstrated that she was opposed to nepotism. Ben was reminded by her that he had previously worked as an anesthesiologist, a surgical resident, and a firefighter, and that he now desires to work as a surgeon once more. According to Sydney, she did not want her intern to become sidetracked by the next exciting item that took place. Because of Sydney, Ben was so enraged that he told himself not to. On the contrary, he was not going to go back to that hospital. The only reason he remained was to offer Richard some emotional support, in addition to how he felt when he had to say goodbye to her mother. At the very least, Bailey ought to have informed him. Catherine was able to regain her previous position at the hospital with the assistance of Bailey. The interns were once again under her supervision. On the very last day of her employment, Sydney did her a favor by hiring Ben. She did not want Bailey to be accused of favoritism toward her family. And thus it came to pass that Bailey and Ben were once again working together. Using the dating app, Schmidt was also able to find a handsome reverend. He served as the chaplain at the hospital. For the purpose of assisting patients, Schmidt has collaborated with him, and he's asked him out tonight. After that, Amelia received calls from other pregnant ladies who were suffering from tumors. After hearing about the miracle that she had performed, they were optimistic that they would also be able to do a miracle. They were left with no other option. Also, Mika had expressed her regret to Amelia for the way she had behaved. She later revealed to Jules the true nature of the problem. There was a cancer diagnosis made for her sister. For the sake of providing for her family, she is considering withdrawing from the surgical program instead.